All right. I'm sorry. I was pulling up my show notes. Got it.
That's all right. And I'll pull up the socialization thing. Facebook. If you're joining us now, oh man, Facebook isn't logged in. And I have to
Facebook isn't logged in.
type in my 1Password file because
Oh,
1Password
you.
isn't even open.
Oh, you specifically.
Did I get it? Yay, I got it. Okay. Now 1Password can fill in this big monstrosity for me. Big, long, ugly password
Hmm.
and two-factor, and we're in. Okay, now we can go socialize. Save your login info to Facebook. We'll save the login for you so you won't need to enter it next time. Just click the profile photo to log in. Do what now?
All
Okay.
right. So I got some. I got. Oh yeah, I know.
Because you
I
have
never
multiple
understood that.
profiles.
So remember last week in our little pre-show stuff, I had mentioned that I went under my house and the doors closed in on me,
Yeah.
and I had to yell for Kim to come.
Yep.
Well, the next day, Kim got a call from one of our neighbors saying, "Hey, I heard Craig was stuck under your house," and
Stuck
I was
under
like,
your house?
"How did they
You
know?"
listening to the podcast?
Yeah, he was listening. He was watching the broadcast on Facebook. Yeah,
Got to be careful what you say now.
I know. I was like, "How did Gene know that?" And I went, "Oh, wait, he was watching it on Facebook. He was probably the one person that wasn't chatting."
The the one person that was watching.
Yeah, one person watching and not chatting or anything.
That's
That's
all.
funny.
That's all right.
Hey, well, I do have some good news. If you notice that I'm back in my closet,
You're back
for
in
the
the
show,
closet. Why aren't you in the shed?
because I had everything set up out there, but tomorrow morning they're coming to start uh, doing the drywall and the insulation and all that.
Oh,
So I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and bring all my stuff back in the house and pretty much leave it empty. So when they get here, they can just start working on it.
how much stuff did you bring out there?
Oh, nothing much. I just had a couple of um, like my Wi-Fi router for the mesh, um, a speaker, like one of the Google Nest Home things, a lamp, and my desk and the laptop. So it's not too much. There's just a few things. But I was out there today, and it wasn't too bad, except for there's no, like I said, there's no insulation or drywall or anything.
Yeah.
So it got a little cool today, and I had a heater in there cranking away. So it finally warmed up out there. But I was like, all right, if they're coming tomorrow, I'm just gonna pack up and I'll move back out when I can move out more permanently.
Did you say you were going to put a mini split in that thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Right after they do finish the drywall and everything, I'm gonna
Sure.
I got to get that mini split in.
Leave a hole so I can
Well,
get
I could leave a hole. Actually, I need to get a 110 mini split. And I saw some on Amazon, so I shouldn't be
uh,
a problem. Because I don't have 220 going to
yeah.
that room, that building.
Right, right.
So I got a line sitting there. The electrician left me a line so I can run it out there and hook it up. So it'll be an easy thing to install. So the mini split. So I'm looking forward to it.
Why aren't you doing the insulation wiring and drywall yourself?
Wiring's already done. The building came wired.
Oh, okay.
The the only reason I'm not doing the insulation and stuff myself is because I guess I'm paying for convenience a little bit because I don't they know exactly what to get. They're going to bring it out and they're going to do it while I'm working. So I don't have to spend my own personal time doing the dry. I've never done drywall and I know
Oh, okay.
it's never difficult, but I mean, I've seen a million videos, but it's like, I don't want to screw it up either.
It
So
it takes a touch. But again,
yeah,
this would be a good place to practice because you're not building a church. Like, oh, if you can still see the tape when I'm done, like, oh well, I'll paint
yeah.
over it. I'm the only
Well,
person living in here.
insulation's not that big a deal at
Yeah.
all, obviously, of course, but I didn't realize this. One of my other neighbors is like, "Yeah, you can buy the insulation in strips that's already pre-measured for about a wall's length, so you don't have to get there and cut on it at stuff at your house.
Mhm.
You get the bundle and they're already in strips. You just basically staple it in. I was like,
Just get the
well,
stuff in a can, and then you cut off the
yeah.
excess.
Oh no, then I wouldn't be able to get to my wires or anything in the future. But so like I said, they got trucks to bring that material out and all that. So and they know exactly what to buy. I'd be, you know, what size this do I need or what, watching videos how to do drywall. And
You
I
miss
don't
out
want to
on one of life's
I don't
great
want to do
joys.
drywall. I don't want to put drywall up on the ceiling.
You'll miss out on one of life's great joys.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That and
I mean,
fixing toilets.
I'm not 100% novice, but at the same time, the drywall I have not done before, and
Yeah.
I don't have any desire to put it up on inside the roof,
It's like
as you
tile.
said.
It takes a practice or 2.
Hmm.
Alright, shall we do our podcast?
Yeah,
Now that everybody's here,
yeah, the whole crew.
our usual cast of characters.
Yeah, where's that peanut gallery? We've been cultivating for 20 years.
Alright, we are about to begin the audio recording, so thank you for tuning in if you've been watching the video, and you got the pre-show banter. Now we're gonna do the show. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Technorama episode 765. Living in a simulation. Ow! I feel good. How about you,
Actually,
Greg?
I feel great. Ooh,
Welcome
Actually,
to Technorama. This is the show that
I got
takes
to
up.
work on my James Brown.
Yeah, me too. This is the show that tries to do James Brown impersonations and takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome aboard! Hooray! I'm not sure how you found us, but we're glad you did. And if you're returning, hooray! We're glad you came back because it's a new year and we're just chugging on right through it. Man, it's like halfway through February already.
You got 10 days to Christmas.
The
Okay.
older you get, the faster it goes.
I know. Yes, it
Means
does.
I've got about another 3 weeks left in me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead, pack it up, Chuck.
my name is Chuck Chabasi from Phoenix, Arizona, and that voice you hear just on the other side is Craig Stepp. How are you, Craig?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
Before the audio recording started, we were just bantering about your new shed.
Yep. It's in place, which was fun to watch them pull it in, and put it in place. It's there, and tomorrow, as of this recording, the next day, they're going to come in. Some guys coming in and doing the drywall and the insulation and all that. So it's ready to go.
It'll feel like a home.
It's going to look like one. He goes, "Oh, you want to make it look like a bedroom?" I was like, "Yeah, that's exactly what I want. Just make it look like a."
You're gonna
I
have
was
to
like,
wait
"What else are
till
you
the
going to do?"
you're gonna have to wait till the mud and tape and everything dry before you can paint it, and then
Well, yeah.
give it a
Well,
give it a
that throws another wrench in there. I don't what color to paint it.
the inside.
Yeah,
What color would you paint a bedroom?
I don't know.
I mean, the
I was like,
yellowish tannish behind you isn't bad. You could go with a green or a light blue motif.
yeah, that isn't too bad right there. I don't know. I got to go look. We did buy some blue paint for the previous building that was going to get
Do you want a
utilized, but
pale color or do you want a bold color?
I think I'm fine with either one. I think probably a little bit of bold be fine.
Okay. Or you could mix them. Make 2 walls bold and 2 walls pale.
I did, yeah. Well, I did see a guy on YouTube. I was looking for uh, studio tour or office tours,
Mhm,
like home office tours, and I
mhm.
was watching a few of them, getting some ideas for color, not just color, but placement of other things. And he had like a copper kind of color on the wall,
Hmm.
almost orangey. It wasn't super copper; it was like almost orangey. It's like that's not too bad, which is not far from yellow. I mean, you know what I'm saying? A different color like that instead of blue. So I don't know. That's what I was giving some thought to. You know what's funny is I have a 14 by 12 office space.
Mhm.
And I go, well, let's see what people put in 14 by 12s. You search for it and I go, okay. I start watching the video and they go, this 10 by 14. I'm like, that's not what I asked for. So I go look, I can't find hardly anybody that's,
It's close
you know,
enough.
yes, but no, I was curious to see how they work the space and not just
Well,
10,
you've
not
got
10.
windows and doors too to work around, so you gotta plan about that too.
They're kind of in the front. So it's
Yep.
not, they're not really in the way. I know where I'm gonna put my desk.
No,
I
but
was
you could
thinking about
use,
other
like,
things.
the light from the window on your face for Zoom calls and whatnot so that you're not
Sure.
shooting, with the camera aiming at a window.
Yes, and my desk is gonna be sitting the window will be right next to me.
Okay.
And there's another window on the other side. So yeah, of course,
You can always rearrange, Craig.
you can.
It's only furniture.
Hey, I'll tell you this. All right, like I said, I got 14 by 12. Everybody's told me that I went a little overboard on the power outlets. There's
You
3
can't.
on one. I know that's what I said.
Can't go
But I
overboard on power outlets. You could have
look
them
in
every 4 inches.
in that little room, I got 10 outlets. I got
Sounds good to me.
I got 2 on 2 opposite walls, and then the right and left wall, they got
Yeah,
3 each. I was like,
that's
yeah,
not overshot.
no, because I know what's gonna happen. Either I'm gonna have to run a power cord or have a
Yep,
power strip somewhere.
yep.
Why don't I just have the outlets there?
Or put down one of those little, like, enclosable tracks. Nah.
Yeah,
Okay, let's
no.
do our feedback. We've been talking about
There
buildings
you
and
go.
paint colors and whatnot.
Letters, oh, we get letters.
Nice.
We get letters every day. Mailman, mailman, mail today. Reach right in and pull one out. Those letters, I love those letters. Let's find out what you got to say.
Oh boy!
Mailman, mail today.
All right, real quick, we'll catch up the listener who wasn't seeing what was on the screen. Listener
Oh.
Lisa on the chat said Kermit Green paint on at least one wall. It's not easy being green.
Nope.
And Mike Robinson says plaid. That way you can always say ludicrous speed, go.
I bet I can see that now. Hey, can y'all roll out some plaid, just like a
Just roll it
Bugs
out.
Bunny cartoon?
Yeah,
You know,
that would work.
open
Right,
the cannon. Hey, open the cannon is plaid on the top.
our last question of the week, moving on to the topic at hand.
Sorry.
What's the most ridiculous tech-related purchase you've ever made? In parentheses, we all have those impulse buys we regret.
Mhm.
Steve London said an early Casio digital camera. I think I
Okay.
used it twice and maybe a few times more. The most expensive and low res pics I ever took. I think the SD card could hold 12 or 15 images.
Wow.
I believe it. I remember when I got my first 2 gig SD card for my Nikon D. What did I get? A D60? D90? One of those two. Which
90.
one
I
did you
think.
have?
Oh wait, I think you had a D50.
A D50. Yeah, I had the
Okay.
D50. And the 2 gig card in 2006 was like $70.
Wow. Yeah.
That's
There-
laughable now.
Yeah. There was a time when those were crazy pricey.
Yep.
I bought real quick, one of the tech purchases I bought. I can't remember if I mentioned on the end of the last show was a Logitech camera. Did I mention that one? It was like
Like a
pocketable.
webcam? Oh,
No,
yes,
no,
you
no.
did. The small one that had a really crappy lens on it.
Yeah, it was I bought it about the time that camera phones, even they were flip phones, but they had cameras on them.
Yep.
And I was like, well, I won't be getting one of those. So, because I didn't think I was going to be getting a camera on my phone. And so I bought that thinking I'd have it in my pocket or right in a bag. I could always take it out, take a quick picture. But now I got, of course, camera on my phone that's like 800 times more powerful than that little thing. But
Right.
it was okay. It would slide out. I could take the picture, slow it, close it, and it would turn off. But it didn't hold a lot of pictures either. And you had to kind of offload them often and half serve the purpose.
We had one at work that we used. It almost looked like Luke Skywalker's binoculars, kind of oval and long. And
Hmm.
it didn't have any storage, a removable storage on it. You hooked up a USB cable. I think it was like right as USB was first coming out. Might have even been serial cable or had a serial port too. But
Yeah.
it was really sad. We used it for taking like the pictures for the employee directory. It was
Oh yeah.
I don't remember what brand it was. It may have been a Casio.
Hmm.
Let's see what else we have. Mike Robinson says multiple digital cameras over the years. The
Yep.
picture on the little preview screen looked okay when I loaded on the computer. However, it resembled a finger painting created by many illegal and/or recreational drugs were questionably consumed
Oh boy.
whilst traveling down an extremely pothole-ridden road. All right, we have 5 shares on this thing.
I know. I was like, did I share it twice or something?
No, we had
But yeah,
Steve shared it, and
look at
Mike
that.
shared it, and you did share it twice, I
I
think.
did share it
You
twice.
did
That's
share it
okay.
okay, well, let's go through a couple of your shares then.
All right. So, Cal Nishioka said, I'm sorry, I was looking at the image. But seriously, there though it's maybe a Synology server and hard drives, mostly to back up his photos. The bigger Synology server and more hard drives. When the first one got full, so he bought a new
I think
one, I
he's talking
guess.
about his NAS.
Yeah, it's NAS. They're consumer grade DS 923, so I don't think those count as no, they don't count as ridiculous. I think it's always good to have I've got the Synology, which I'm ready to bring in my office and bring it back.
Woohoo.
It's just sitting there in the storage waiting on me.
Gary Lindros says $150 SCSI 3 cable.
I
Ooh.
was like, what?
Steve
Who?
said, "Is it platinum plated?" He goes, "No, it was 1996. Worked for a catalog company. I was shocked they approved it."
I've never.
I could see that from like HP or one of the big brands if you're buying their servers and you have to get a new cable. They
Yeah.
gouged you on accessories.
Well, this SCSI 3, I'm trying to remember. I was thinking like a long time ago. I remember SCSI or some other kind of format where it had the parallel connector type Centronics connectors
Yeah, that was like the
for
original
two.
SCSI 1. It looked like a big
Yeah,
fat parallel printer port.
yeah, it was basically for like external drives or something or enclosure.
Mhm.
Yeah, those could get a little pricey. Wow,
Gary Linders also said a Zune.
a
Long live
Zune.
the Zune. Scott Lamer said an asset management photography centric item on Kickstarter never came to fruition. The worst part is they lied that it did exist, but no one ever saw it. Ah, the Theranos asset management system.
Theranos. Yeah, our buddy Brian Brown said VR headset Oculus would have been better off with a Steam Deck. Yep.
Oh, I've had people that have bought the Oculus, and didn't you
Mhm.
have one? You got one from work or something.
Yeah, work bought us all one, and I've got it. I played with it some. I still like it, but now you can get a better one for the same price. But yeah, I enjoyed it. What was fun, man? What was fun was exploring some of the 360 YouTube videos.
Mhm.
A few of them were concerts, and there's like a drone or aerial shot of the concert, and you got this great view. It was kind of fun to watch some of those things or underwater. Oh, skydiving, that was another good one because you kind of feel like, oh, okay, we're going to jump out of a plane. They jump out the plane. I know
And then
you
they
don't have
turn
the
a
wind.
fan on your face.
Yeah, turn the fan on, but it was it kind of takes you out of yourself for a minute as soon as they do that, and then you can look around and you see the ground below you. It's kind of a lot of fun watching those videos.
Alrighty, we are
Oh,
going to.
oh, and the Darth
Yes.
Vader game that was well worth having an Oculus for.
Pray that I don't change the rules again.
Do the little the little challenge levels that you just use the lightsaber um to do the little you standing still and things are coming at you and you're trying to fight them off or throw rocks and using the force. All that was so much fun. I just wanted to do that. I didn't care about the game so much as the challenge levels. And they got better. Each one, there's 3 versions of that game. The first one was fun, and then the challenge level in the second one had droids and stuff. And then the third one, there's stormtroopers and they're shooting at you, and you're having to deflect the fire, and it was fun. So much fun.
Sounds like it. How can we move on?
I guess. 10-year-old me's having fun thinking about it.
On this day in history for February 12th, 2025. It's the 43rd day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are 322 days remaining in 2025. It was on this date in 1404. Is that an internet error of some type? 1404?
Yeah, sort of.
That the Italian professor Galeazzo di Sant'Anna Sofì performed the first post-mortem autopsy for the purposes of teaching and demonstration at the Heiligen Geist Spital in Vienna.
Very nice.
Spital.
Spital.
Wow. I think I hurt myself on that one.
I think there was a little spital when you were saying it. So 523 years ago today, Vasco da Gama set sail with 15 ships and 800 men from Lisbon, Portugal, on his second voyage to India.
You said Lisbon, Portugal.
Lisbon. Did I say Lisbon? Lisbon. Sorry.
The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, aka the NAACP, was founded on this date in 1909.
And it was also today in 1947, the largest observed iron meteorite until that time created an impact crater in Skiote Alin in Soviet Union.
I'll give you a break for the Soviet Union part.
Yeah, right.
It was 64 years ago today that the Soviet Union launched Venera 1 towards Venus. Off you go.
Yeah. Go now. And construction on the Gateway Arch in St. Louis, Missouri began on this date in 1963.
It wasn't exactly an arch when it started. It was just 2 pillars.
Yeah, I've seen construction pictures of that, and it's kind of fun to look at.
Never been there yet. I've seen lots of videos on it.
Yeah.
It was also on this date in 2001 that Near Shoemaker spacecraft touched down in the saddle region of 433 Eros, becoming the first spacecraft to land on an asteroid.
Wow, what a big asteroid.
It was the saddle region. You know where that is.
Yeah.
Not the intergluteal cleft. Happy birthday goes out of this date to French chemist and academic Bernard Courtois, born on this date in 1777.
And Pierre-Louis Delong, French physicist and chemist, was born on that same date in 1785.
Karl Reichenbach, the German chemist and philosopher, was born 237 years ago today.
And born for February 12th, 1804, German-Italian physicist and academic Heinrich Lenz.
English geologist and theorist Charles Darwin, old Chucky boy, was born on this date in 1809.
And Louis Renault, a French engineer and businessman, co-founded Renault, was born 148 years ago today, and he's still working.
Looks good for 100. Good news, everyone.
Yeah.
Lincoln LaPaz, American astronomer and academic, was born on the same date in 1897.
Wow, we're racking up the French people here.
A lot of French people today. I should have warned you.
Yeah, French mathematician and philosopher Jacques Herbrand was born 117 years ago today.
Born February 12, 1914, German-Canadian mathematician Hannah Newman.
And Lauren Green, he ran the Battlestar Galactica for a while.
That's right. He was the original Adama.
That's right. The Canadian-American actor was born 110 years ago today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Seems like he was just 60.
Yeah, I think he was born old.
That was 50 years ago today.
Yeah.
Ivan Anakiyev, the Soviet cosmonaut, was born on the same date in 1933.
And also turning 77 today is American computer scientist and engineer Ray Kurzweil.
American cryptographer photographer and programmer Phil Zimmerman, the man from PK Zip. Was that him? He's 71.
I think it is. Yeah.
No, that's Phil Katz. Phil Zimmerman was a different guy.
Oh, okay. Well, also turning 57 today is American actor Josh Brolin.
Don't let that man snap his finger.
Yeah, Thanos himself.
Not to be confused with Theranos that we mentioned earlier. That's a different villain. Listener birthdays this week include a couple of Valentine's birthdays. Douglas E. Welsh from the Career Opportunities podcast. Andrew from Illinois is also on the 14th. Philip from Australia. Have not heard from him in a while. Maybe we'll hear from him by his birthday, or we can send him a birthday wish. Happy birthday. Bill Trait of Megapod, formerly of Megapodtastic and Action Figure Junkies, on the 17th. The 18th is Hot John Miller, also formerly of Megapodtastic.
Okay.
And Ray Insalaco from Central Village, Connecticut on the 18th as well. Hey, if it was your birthday this week and we didn't give you a shout out, well, we wish you all the best. And if we did give you a shout out, we wish you doubly all the best. If you want to be on this doubly all the best list, you go over to chuckchat.com/birthday, put your name and birthday in the form, and we'll give you a shout out at the appropriate time of year. It's a lot of fun. And since the music is about to end, we're going to tell you that's the way it was on this day in history for February 12th, 2025.
That's the way it was.
Hey, I thought I told you people to go away.
Yeah,
Wait,
get out of
maybe
here.
that's it. My
Hey, we got
spidey-
budgets to worry about.
There it is. That's the way it was. Old people will remember that. Walter Cronkite.
That's right. America's most trusted newsman. Is that what he was?
Random blue button.
Oh, great news, everyone.
Well, it's kind of great news, or at least great news for the conspiracy theorists. On, where are we? Laudable.com. You've
Yes.
probably already seen this, but there's this mysterious rectangular structure that's been spotted on Mars. Looks like the
Hey.
ruins of an old building.
Hey, if they back up, you see the face right beside it. Remember the face
Sure.
of Mars?
Well, they've said it could be construed as a rectangular structure. And it kind of sort of resembles a building foundation in a way, like an old adobe structure that's been weathered over for a few thousand years. But
Yeah.
this has the internet in a buzz. Even though the picture was taken in 2001, where have these people been for the last 23 years?
Right?
You know, there's some people saying, well, straight lines and right angles don't form in nature. And I'm saying shenanigans on that. You can find anything you want if you look hard enough in nature. So what is this? Don't know. Maybe a Borg cube crashed there a few billion years ago.
Well, you have to admit, it does look pretty well defined for something natural.
It does. But
Yeah.
I'm not going so far as to say it's not natural. Yeah, there's just
No.
not enough information. And
That's a big leap.
we've
No,
been
no, that's a
fooled
big
here
leap.
before by face on Mars. There's the gateway on Mars. There's it's like,
Gateway.
do you think people would
Hey,
learn
there's a Starbucks on Mars.
right? Think people would learn to stop jumping to conclusions and go, there, I told you, only to be
Hey,
proven a
well, I'm
few
sorry.
pictures
What'd
later.
you say? You wished people would stop jumping to conclusions?
Yes. Science, people, critical
Whoa.
thinking. That's what it takes.
Yeah. That is kind of funny. But
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Lad Bible. I read it wrong. It was a small font in the
yes, Lad Bible.
tutorial.
I just thought I do think it's interesting, and like the conspiracy theorist in me, or not conspiracy theorist, but where you believe in aliens and you look for the half truths to kind of figure out where they go. This kind of falls in that, because it does look pretty defined, like it look like the base of I can imagine a skyscraper that's been gone for a long time. And this is
Yeah.
all that's left.
Elon Musk had a quote in the article somewhere, something like, that's interesting. We should send some astronauts to go check it out.
I think he's been wanting to do that for a long time. I
Are you
don't know.
looking for an excuse? This is just the kind of PR gimmick I need.
Yeah, You know, it'd be funny as if we did send somebody there and they're standing at the doorway. You know, it's like a old castle. You know, it's like the remains of a castle. It is something.
It is. All right, on to a non-space related article about bonobos, our close relatives. They're
I like bonobos.
chimpanzee-like things, and they're doing this experiment called the theory of mind. Now, that's when we try and interpret what somebody else is thinking, what they may know
Mhm.
or what they may not know, and we don't always get it right. And they wanted to see if other animals had a similar theory of mind. So they set up this experiment where, the shell game that street hucksters use, where you got the three cups and they put something under the cup and they
Right.
mix them up and you're supposed to guess. Well, they put a treat underneath one of the three cups, but they didn't move the cups and they let the bonobo watch, like, hey, it's in the middle one, or it's on the left, or
Mhm.
it's on the right. And in some of the experiments, there was a glass partition where a second human being could see which cup it was in. So they lift the clear partition and they lift up the cup. They go, I know where it is. And they gave it to the bonobo. He goes, hey, I got a treat because
Right.
that human knows where the treat is. Then they replaced the glass partition with an opaque partition so the human could not see. And they wanted to know if the bonobo would help the human behind the partition when they came over and said, hey, it's time to give you a treat. Would they go, well, you don't know where it is, so I'm going to help? And some
Right.
of them pointed out and they went, hey, it's under the middle one or it's under the left one to help the human get them their treat. They wanted the treat. That's their motivation
Sure.
for helping the
Right.
human. Well, they didn't have a real large study size here. They only had like 3 bonobos, and one
That
of them was a
yeah.
little trigger happy, whether it was glass or opaque. They were pointing at that cup going, "The treat's over here, the treat's." So what they learned was, like humans, bonobos have personalities. Everyone's a
Right.
little different. Some, they said there's data indicating that they may have theory of mind traits. Putting plastic cups, treats under plastic cups isn't something they find in the wild, but they have observed that if they need to make a warning call or something
Mhm.
and, new bonobos arrive on the scene, they go, well, you don't know the situation. So they change their warning call for these new members that
Oh,
don't know the situation. They go,
okay.
there's a tiger over there. Did you know that?
Yeah.
If all the others know there's a tiger, it's like, hey, tiger. But if there's a new one,
Intruder.
it's like, dude,
Intruder.
tiger, 310
Yeah.
degrees, 762, Mark 45.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other one's like, oh yeah, you're
Tricorder
right.
reading. Yeah,
Yeah.
tricorder readings.
Yeah. Hey, I was when I was reading about this and they were talking about the theory of the mind where it was trying to just like you just said, where to help somebody figure out where it's at, where the
Yep.
ball or the treat is at. I was wondering if it's trying to help you find the treat, that kind of mindset,
Yeah.
how far of a leap is that to empathy where you start thinking about what the other person's feeling? That's not that far off, I don't think.
Probably not that far, and I would dare to say some of the great apes probably have empathy.
Mhm.
We've observed them mourning their dead. So,
Yep.
there's definitely some emotions that are going on there. So,
Hmm.
don't know. All right, back to space. We're going from bonobos to Bennu.
We're sending bonobos to space.
Right. No. And
Well,
we
we did
already
that
talked
before.
about the this what was it that landed on the asteroid? Anyway, different asteroid, Osiris Rex landing on Bennu. Remember that?
Yeah,
When it launched in
it just happened.
2016, it went there and it came back in 2023, and we got 120 grams of Bennu dirt.
If
And
you
they
don't
just
remember,
realized,
this is the one that they were having trouble getting the sample out of the capsule.
yeah, and you can't
So apparently,
exactly put some, WD-40 on the bolts.
hey, so when I saw this article, I went, "Oh, spoiler alert! I guess they got it open."
They did get it open.
Yeah,
That was shortly after it landed.
right.
What they found, there were some surprises and some not so big surprises. Not so big surprises were these rocks are from the origins of the solar system. Surprise. Yeah.
Yeah,
What they didn't expect, and I thought this one was kind of cool, is there's a hypothesis about molecules. This is really fascinating because as soon as I finished reading this, I went and listened to um, Shortwave, an NPR podcast, and they were
Mhm.
talking about something eerily similar to this.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
So let me read this to you. In a separate train of thought, and my personal favorite Bennu discovery so far, writes the author, the Osiris Rex sample analysis also communicated something peculiar about the chirality of molecules found in the Bennu samples. That's a chemistry term that basically refers to the orientation of a molecule. Now, a molecule is considered chiral, that's Chiral, if it
Carl.
can't be superimposed on a mirror image of itself, no matter what you try to do. This means that there must be two versions of that molecule, a left-handed version and a right-handed version. So think about your own left and right hands. If your palms are facing upwards, they follow this principle too. Okay.
Mhm.
So all life on Earth is based on the left-handed form, said Galvin. And this is a big mystery, actually. We don't know how this happened. But they also explain that scientists have been studying meteorites for decades and checking space molecule handedness to compare that with our Earth molecule handedness. And they consistently seem to find that meteorites, especially with similar compositions to Bennu, exhibited predominantly left handed molecules. But meteorites don't get that same white glove princess treatment that Bennu samples did. They're more or less contaminated by all the stuff they passed through before hitting the planet. So the hypothesis has been that the early solar system was biased towards the left-hand version.
Hmm.
However, now that we've been looking at these, they found equal parts of left and right-handedness in the Osiris Rex samples. They referred to them as racemic mixture.
Okay.
So they don't know why this happened. Let me put one more thing on here. They actually found a lot of ammonia in these soil samples, something to the tune of like 70
Woo.
times
Yeah.
the amount you find in Earth soil samples. So
Really?
crazy
Wow.
mixtures. But there are, out of what was it, the 20 amino acids that make up the proteins to make life on Earth,
Right.
we found 14 of them on Osiris Rex. So they're saying, no, well, they didn't find life. They found most of the components that could
Yeah.
form life. Following up with that, the Shortwave podcast was talking about mirrored cells. So instead of mirrored molecules, they went on to mirrored cells. They said they don't exist today, but hypothetically, if you have a mirrored cell and somebody were to get infected, this could be an outrageous pandemic if the cell got into, say, one of the scientists and found a source of food and started multiplying. We have no way to stop these things.
Great. You know what? Somebody's gonna be looking at the sample and achoo.
No, these are mirrored molecules, not mirrored
Right.
cells. So big difference there. Big
I know.
difference. You're talking about
No,
like
just
between
imagine
flour and a cake.
I'd be the one to sneeze right in it and infect the whole laboratory.
120 grams is gone. So lots
Yeah.
of interesting stuff. I never even heard that term before today, and then I heard it twice in just a few minutes, literally.
Wow.
What
That's
was the
pretty
term,
awesome.
Craig? What was the term? Started with a C.
Left-handed.
The
I'm sorry, was I supposed to be paying attention to you speaking?
were you talking? Yeah. Chiral.
Chiral.
That's
Like
the word of the day.
yeah, I was joking about
Go get a license plate.
Coral.
Coral. The Walking Dead. Coral.
Yeah. No, that is pretty cool.
Andrew. Lloyd
You know what? I
Webber.
think that mission seems to be well worth it because it looks like they got a lot of data and
Oh, and
I'm
there's
sure
more to
there's more
come.
to
They're
come.
not done.
Yeah.
They're not done. They
Yeah.
said that the Japanese, the JAXA mission that did something similar came back with, what was it, 6 or 20 grams or something, and we brought back a lot more. So we have a lot more to study. We need to get better data analysis. Okay,
Yeah.
one quick thing in the Hacks of Strange Stories. Let me pull that up real quick. Do you want to read on this one?
Yeah, this is pretty cool. There was a scientist who recreated Spider-Man's web fluid, and they explained how they did it. And I'm trying to remember because I read this like last week. So basically, I think he was trying to make a strong underwater adhesive silk so they could use it to was it to repair uh I'm trying to remember now.
They didn't say exactly what they were doing with it, but
Yeah, it was something for underwater stuff, and
he
then
was
they realized that
cleaning the
they were-
glassware with acetone,
Yeah.
and when his compound hit the acetone, it like quickly solidified. And he
Yeah.
said, "Well, if we could extrude this in almost like a coaxial thing, so my fluid is in the middle and acetone on the outside, we could pop it out there and it will solidify quickly." And lo and behold, he's got something resembling, I won't say it's like, but it resembles Spider-Man's webs.
It
But
looks like Spider-Man went and just
it's
picking up a little glass.
it's not
jar.
nearly as strong enough. You know, you're going to be swinging from streetlights on this.
Yeah. Imagine, let's try it out. Well,
Ah!
the one now we're down to 2 scientists instead of 3.
If you're trying to test things based on a comic book, you're not going to live long. I'll just leave it at that. So
Hey,
lots more
well-
testing to do and lots more stuff,
Yeah.
but they also had it was elsewhere in the article. They were talking about the origins of Spider-Man. It's like, hey, the first Spider-Man, until Tobey Maguire came along about 20 years ago, they had to mix and build all their own stuff. And then
oh yeah,
Tobey Maguire's shot out of his wrists is like a side effect of being bitten.
Yes.
There was, I think he said in the 2018 Spider-Man Homecoming movie, started writing the equation on the board. The scientist goes, actually,
yeah.
some
Funny
of
story.
your chemical equations aren't quite right.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, I kind of bought in on Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man having it as part of his body because of his transformation. I thought it made sense.
It made sense.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got the little micro cleats on your fingers and toes to hang onto a wall, then it's not that much of a stretch of imagination to know
Well-
your body's been transformed with that as well.
And then, so I remember thinking, I said, "Oh, that's kind of cool." It's, instead of having to fiddle around with something on your belt to stick it onto your cartridge on your wrist, I was thinking, well, if he had that transformation and he could shoot those out of his head, where's the webbing at? Is there a gland in his arm? And why does his arms not look puffier, like Popeye or something, because he's got all that web fluid in there?
I don't know that. I don't know. You're working too hard on something that's make believe.
It was. I wasn't trying to solve it. I just remember thinking, where's the gland that has all that in there? That's all.
In his arm.
Okay. And then I like the picture in the middle of the article. There's a runner in a Spider-Man outfit.
It's a good picture.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
He looks more like the Flash.
Well, I thought it was funny they used that picture because he's running and not swinging.
He ran out.
That's what I mean.
Literally.
He ran.
See what I did there? He ran out.
Yeah.
All right. Quick shout out to the chat room. We have Mike, Lisa, Mike, and Lisa. Thank you for joining us. Normally we do the show live on Sunday nights at 8:30 Eastern time. This week we had some stuff come up, so we postponed it and we are recording Monday. So watch the Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube channel, whatever it takes, and you too could be part of our shenanigans that we do here. We like to see the comments going by. We have, looks like we might have lost one of them. I don't know who's still hanging around with us, but we got one.
Who's here? Yeah. This is roll call, everybody. If you're watching.
Well, we do that. We're also going to do the patron roll call. Thank you to everybody who contributes to the show, keeps it going. We got our payment just a few days ago. It's in the bank, and we have offset the costs once again. We're on budget for the year. Thank you, Alexis Duran, Amber Elstad, Amy Bowen, Abner Braverman, Ben Vaughn, Brian Brown, Chris Martinez, Chris MC, Dandy Mancoyer, Dean Jensen, Denise Inglis, Gary Lindros, John Clifford, John Noble, Yorgos Rowan, Crazy Joe, Kyle Nishioka, Leon, Mark Hilfoyle, Brad Miller, Mike Wills, Saturday Morning Media, Stephen Weshy, Steve Cody, Steve Therian, Steve Webb, Steve London, and Tim Cook. All
Yep.
these people went to patreon.com/Technorama podcast. You can see it in the caption there down below, or you can hear me say it one more time, patreon.com/Technorama podcast. And for as little as $1 a show, they took care of our financial needs once again. Thank you very much to them. And we hope that you consider doing the same. Until then, let's get rid of the Imperial Merch Band because we have the media corner to do.
Yay. I'm sorry. Pass the remote.
Go long. I'm going to throw it to you.
Ah,
He's not even looking in the right direction. No one never catches anything.
it's like the when Captain America, just like my friend here, the coach, you know, and he turns in the wrong direction.
All right. What have you got on your list of watching, reading, listening stuff?
Well, I was looking forward to this. I got to watch it. Gladiator 2. It came out on Paramount Plus. So I heard good things about it, and yes, it was really good. I don't know if it was as good as the first one, but it's certainly up there because there's a lot of intrigue, backstabbing, all the kind of stuff you saw in the first one. People vying for power. It was really good. Highly recommend this one. It starts off with Lucius, who was the kid in the first one.
Okay.
He's grown up. And he's in this place where he finds out definitely who his father was, and who he knew his mother, of course.
His father's Darth Vader.
Don't spoil it.
That was
So
spoiled about 40 years ago.
yeah, I know, right? But it kind of goes from there, his acceptance from all that, and what his vision was for Rome. So yeah, it was really good. I certainly can recommend that one.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I caught on the National Geographic Channel, which is part of my Disney subscription.
Mhm.
I'm on episode 5 of 6. I got to double check. It's called Pirates Behind the Legends. And they have had a number of each episode focuses on a different pirate. So you've got Grace O'Malley, you've got Francis Drake,
Mm.
you've got Jack, John, is it John Crow? I can't remember his name now, but his nickname by one of the people over in Algeria was Jack Sparrow. Now, that's as close as you're going to come to Pirates of the Caribbean because he never even went to the Caribbean.
Right.
The real one. But very fascinating stuff about these people and the time period of which this took from like the 1550s. And now some of these are more into the mid 1600s. And originally, a lot of the piracy was the queen sort of outsourcing her military power because she
Right.
could directly attack the Spanish. The Spanish had laid claim to a big chunk of the New World, and they're taking gold and silver and whatnot. And she said, "Well, this won't work. we need to do something about that, but I can't without." Making a political mess of things.
Right.
But if there were these other people out there, like, well, Francis Drake, he went around the world. He was doing other things. But Grace O'Malley, for example, if she attacks some ships, then you have to give some to the crown. I think it was like 20%, and they keep the rest. So they could make out pretty darn well if they were striking the right ships. So fascinating stuff. That was more than just yar, pass the rum.
Right. Well, good. I have to go check that one out because I do find the pirates interesting.
Mhm.
Their whole story. So the other one, Kim and I watched this. It was on Amazon Prime called The Sticky,
Oh,
which is a short series about a maple syrup heist in Canada.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
There's a not a conglomerate. What did they call it?
Not foundation. Oh, what was it?
A cartel. It's
It's kind of like a cartel.
it's
Yeah.
it's a maple syrup cartel, and they were trying to get everybody on board so that they could regulate the prices, and a lot of the private
Yes.
entrepreneurs went, "No, we like
That's
selling our own," and
yes.
apparently some of them got upset and they raided a warehouse.
Yeah, and uh this is just based on that premise. It's not a true story kind of thing.
Oh, no, I
But
watched the true story one. It was great.
okay. But yeah, this is a story derived from that. So if you like that story, you'll probably like this too.
Okay.
It's a little bit on the dry side with some of the humor a little bit, but um I kind of enjoyed it. There were some times when I was like, let's move along. It was a little slow,
Sure.
but yeah, ultimately I think it was pretty good.
I watched one on Netflix this afternoon called Black Mass. I was just going through looking at,
Is
this
this
week
like similar to Black Mirror or
no.
okay.
This is the story around Jimmy Whitey Bulger. Now, I know him because he was well, I don't know him personally because I
Yeah.
wasn't there,
Oh.
but
Oh yeah,
his
yeah. I've
name
seen this.
often comes up if you were to take the tour of Alcatraz. He's one of the more famous people that was in Alcatraz until like 1965.
Yeah.
This is all the goings on from about 75 to mid 80s, maybe mid to late 80s. It's take place in the Boston area. This movie reads like a who's who of Hollywood.
Mm,
It was made in 2015. We got Johnny Depp, who's playing Jimmy Bulger. He's like the small time guy who allies himself with his really good friend who's an agent in the FBI, and he's acting as informant, but he's really getting more than he's giving. And that allows them to go after the mafia boss, shuts down them. Now he takes total control. So Johnny Depp's character, Whitey Bulger, is just running pretty much Boston. And the FBI gets a new agent in there. They go, how come nobody's ever gone after Bulger? Oh, I think he
Oh, we
retired.
forgot.
Yeah, because the inside man in the FBI is now on the hook. We've
Mhm.
got David Harbour from Stranger Things.
Yep.
We've got Jesse Plemons from Killers of the Flower Moon, and one that I mentioned, I think last week, The Irishman. We've got Joel Edgerton from The Boys in the Boat. He was also Owen Lars on Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Adam Scott from Severance. We've got Kevin Bacon. Don't need to mention his resume. Benedict Cumberbatch, same thing. Julianne Nicholson, who was in Weird Al Yankovic, The Story. Corey Stoll, who played, I know him as Peter Russo from House of Cards. And
Yeah.
W.
Right.
Earl Brown, which I didn't recognize at first, but I was going through the IMDb page on all these people going, holy doodle. This guy was
Yeah. Holy doodle.
Weequay proprietor on The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. Wow.
Dang. Yep.
I mean, just every actor that comes over, like, I know them from what is it? What is it? What is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those moments, like every 2 minutes.
What's that say? What was that I saw on Facebook the other day? It was like a meme that said, "Are you one of those people that spends half the movie going, I've seen him somewhere. I've seen him somewhere."
A lot of these I could name. Obviously, Benedict Cumberbatch and Kevin Bacon and Johnny Depp should jump right out at you. And David Harbour without his beard is a little tough
Mhm.
to spot at first, but like, oh yeah, there he is.
Right.
Some of the other one, Adam Scott had a beard, which he doesn't in Severance, so that kind of had his features. But Jesse and Joel are very recognizable. In fact, Jesse Plemons when he's clean shaven, he looks a lot like Leonardo DiCaprio. It's easy to get them confused.
Actually, he looks a lot like Matt Damon. That's what
No,
he
yeah,
actually
that's the Matt Damon. Yes, you're right.
he
You're right.
actually played. He played a kid version of Matt Damon in a movie,
Oh, funny.
and the Matt Damon said the crew was saying he looks more like you than you.
When
I don't know
when
how
he
that
was in
works.
Killers of the Flower Moon, I thought it
Yeah.
was Leonardo at first, but
Yeah.
yep. Okay. Finally onto the Geek Library. You put in a video short from Carl Sagan. I think this is
Yeah.
about mid 90s.
It's about what?
Do you want to elaborate on the video?
Yeah, so this is Carl Sagan back in 1996, and he's talking about the importance of really knowledge because, he said any charlatan can come in, and if you can't read, will tell you what he wants you to believe is on the paper, basically. So he was talking about the importance of knowledge and learning and thinking for yourself and being skeptical about the quote unquote truths that you're given every day. Trying to
Critical
be
thinking
critical thinking.
yeah, and being skeptical on a lot of things. You don't have to walk around going, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. But you have to follow it up with what else is out there. Is it A or B, or is what I'm being fed? And it's just as important 30 years ago as it is today, if not more so.
Mhm. Hey, to sit there and analyze everything that's being fed to you every day is exhausting.
Just look at this
Um,
podcast.
yeah, yeah. Just look at it, it's exhausting. No, but I remember I was fascinated with Sherlock and how he tries to be so observant about everything.
Mhm.
And I remember reading the article how to think like Sherlock. I was like, okay, let's see what they say. And of course, trying to remember that I had a tea that was brown and the label in the bottom, blah blah. And trying to keep all that. That's exhausting. So I don't think even critical thinking. I don't think you can do it 100% all the time, but it's for the big things. I think it's important to be like that. Trying to be critical about and not just swallow all your truths.
Well, this kind of brings me back to the flat earthers. I appreciate the fact that they're saying, look, we've been told the earth is round, but what
Mhm.
we're observing is that it looks flat. That's not the end of the story though, but they are being critical thinkers. They're just not when they find something that fits, they stop thinking. Is what it comes to.
Oh, we must have solved it. Okay,
Right.
moving next. Yeah,
No, therefore, they don't believe anything else. And then that turns into, oh, the government is trying to control us, and oh, space is fake, and like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. You do know that a lot of these things have been proven and proven again.
space is
So
fake.
it's not up to every one of us to go and do our own research to prove that the earth is curved.
Yeah,
It just at some point you have to take mountains of evidence by skilled people who've dedicated their lives to this. Not saying they're going to be wrong. I mean, just look at that's what Carl Sagan was saying.
Yeah.
Is science is being able to say, hey, we got that wrong. Here's a new idea.
hmm
And I was just having this discussion with a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago about evolution. Now, it's not proven because we're taking data points. Sometimes there's lots of gaps in the data points and going, this is what could be happening.
hmm
So it's you have to be you have to take it both ways. You can't just go, I made my observations, I'm shutting down. That's every
Hey.
time I do this, I hold a level up and
Do you know how
every time I
this is
pour
relevant to
water
my-
into a dish, it's level.
Yeah. Well, this is the. All right. Speaking of that, this morning, I just realized there was a connection between the two. I watched. It was TOS, the Return of the Archons.
Yes.
With Landu, and they were
Landrew.
they were just taking the computer's word for it.
Yep.
See, they should have been critical thinkers. It could have been a different story.
Yeah. Lower Decks came back and they went back to worshiping Landrew.
Yeah. That was funny.
All right. That takes care of the Geek Library and some of our thoughts about that video. We leave you with another question of the week.
Yeah.
You've discovered a new planet entirely populated by sentient plants. What's the first question you ask them?
How much should I water you?
So, are you all like vegans?
Yeah. or meat eaters.
We're going to put that on social media, see what comes back. Can only imagine.
Feed me, Seymour.
Good stuff. You know you're feeding off your dead relatives.
Yeah. Whoa. Disgusting.
That's what plants do.
Yeah.
All right. Until then, we bid you fond farewell. We ask that if you've got an answer to the question or you've got comments about what we've said tonight or on any other episode, Call us on the listener line 707-530-2428. That's 707-530-chat. Same as it ever was.
Yeah,
Said David Byrne.
that's right.
Or you can email us, technorama@chuckchat.com. We'd love to hear from you. Some of you have done that. We appreciate it greatly. You can also find us anywhere on social media or the internet in general by looking for Technorama Podcast. You'll find us. We're there. Until then, consider joining as a patron over at patreon.com/Technorama Podcast. And until next week, tell a friend about Technorama. And Craig's going to give us a binary high five real soon now.
101, everybody.
Woo. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe. Take care. Talk to you next time. This concludes our audio broadcast.
That's right. Thank you, everybody.
No, that's at the end of the broadcast day. So thank you for hanging out with us on the video. We're going to stop the video and go record our Patreon show. Take care.
You
Talk to
can
real
listen
soon.
if you want to.
Talk to you in 6 days. Hopefully we'll
Yeah.
get this on a
Hey,
Sunday.
if you want to hear it, you can go sign up for it.
Yep. Live long and expire. No, perspire. No. Retire.
What does this mean? No, don't answer that.
Live long and retire. Bye.